While Papua New Guinea prepares to commemorate its 40th independence, one Catholic priest is looking forward to celebrate 40 years of priesthood come Sunday, 14th of June. 65-year-old Father John Ryan, Divine Word University's chaplain, has spent almost half of his life in various parts of Papua New Guinea and is now proud to sit back and reflect on 4 decades of his religious vocation. However, the Irish priest has a special message for the young: to live positively in preparation for life's challenges.
He told Tumuna TV that would be the message for scholars and youths during his 40th anniversary liturgical celebrations at the university's St. Joseph Frenendemetz Chapel on Sunday. Reflecting on his youth and family members who supported him throughout his long journey, he said young Papua New Guineans should utilize this strong family unit for their development.
I really believe if you're going to live to be about 60, 70, 80 Christmas, the first third of your life is the most important part. If you get things right in the first quarter of your life, say you live to be 100, so to the age of 25, you get things right, you've laid your foundation for the future.
He cautioned young people on how they live, as their actions determine their future.
Just if you don't have a good youth, the rest of your life could be a struggle. Of course, with the grace of God, anybody can change. But if you're single and you're doing the right thing, you'll probably do the right thing when you get married. If you're a drunk before you get married, when you're still single, you'll probably be a drunk time you marry. If you're on drugs when you're single, you'll be on drugs. You've fallen about long old man na Mary, time you young fella finish some life long you won't change the day you get married.
Every day counts, as there are no repetitions. However, Father John reiterated that one's youth is the most important phase in life.
Well, I would say that it is the most important time of your life. While every day is important, get a good foundation. From a young age, I'm sure Jesus was very influenced by his parents and his local culture, and we should be too. So don't dream about tomorrow, be realistic about today. And you can have your dreams in the back of your mind. If I'm going to drive a car to Hagen from Medang, I have to keep in mind I'm going to Hagen, I don't detour for Ley, or I don't go off when I go to Kainantu or Garok or Kundiawa somewhere. I must know the end of my journey is Hagen, but I have to keep my mind on the road wherever I'm driving. So if you're a young person looking forward to a full life, keep your mind on where you are, but know where you're going. And just use it to the best of your time. Don't think that things are going to dramatically change for the worse or the better. They can do if you have an accident or something like that, or if you win a lotto or kind of something else. But most people, the normal way is day by day. Day by day, O Lord, 3 things I pray: to see thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, to follow thee more nearly.
Given easy access to materials which influence today's generations, the clergy encouraged young people to stick to what they believe is right. Real happiness is not all about earthly things, but rather positive attitude with focus on God and life after death, he said.
And so I'd say to young people, enjoy where you are, but don't fool yourself. Don't think you can finish some light belong you time you young fella, and that you're going to have energy and all the rest for when you're lapoon. You've got to look after yourself when you're young. If you start smoking and eating buai and drinking a lot when you're young, don't expect to be fit and beautiful looking when you're 40, 50. You know, you've got to look after yourself, huh?
For those who were not able to afford basic life's necessities such as education, Father John said that should not be a detriment to one's present and future. Be realistic, live each day to the fullest, and plan for the future. He encouraged young people, most of whom are Divine Word University's scholars.
If you're an older person like me, or you're even your age, 20s, 30s, 40s, don't blame your youth. Oh, well, when I was young, I never had a chance to do this, I never had a chance to do that. No, you're a product of your past, but you're not a prisoner of it. You're a product of your past, but you're not a prisoner. Maybe you didn't have the best school in Papua New Guinea when you were growing up. Maybe you had a parent who was drinking too much or something like that. That's your past we cannot change. But you're not a prisoner to that past. With the grace of God, you can go on to any new level. So I'm hoping, I'm only new here at the university, but to give people a new vision or renew their good vision. Just say a hope, hey, man. Ting ting bilang mi no can calabus lang one pala something tas all. God has a bigger plan for me.
Father John said, on the other hand, parents should be respected for their tireless efforts in raising the young. He said it is rare to find parents who promote negative attitudes on their young kids.
I'm 66 years of age next week, and I have never met a parent who has deliberately misguided their children. Every parent wants the good of their children. Now, some maybe gave bad advice in some way accidentally or because they didn't have enough knowledge to make the right decision or whatever. But most parents want what's good for their parents, for their children. I believe that's why God put the parents next to himself in the 10 Commandments. God put the parents next to himself. After the commandments about God, we have the parents next. And the Jews believe that the law about the parents was on the same stone that the law about God was on. And the other commandments, no can kill a man, he die, no can brook a married, no can steal, gyam and mangle, they were on the other stone. But God put the parents next to himself. That would be a Jewish thing, and I'd say it would be really a good lesson to learn. Obey your parents, they're not God, they're not perfect, but thank God they gave you life. And they've looked after you, and you've got to look after them.
At a young age, Papua New Guinea found a special place in Father John's heart, triggering his passion to serve abroad. It was the only place outside Ireland young John was interested in and wanted to find out more, not knowing he would one day find a place to serve and live with its people for most of his active years.
And I've been writing to Papua New Guinea since the age of 13 or 14. So my interest was here all along. So I joined the SVD. In theory, I joined at the age of 11. In reality, I joined at the age of 19 when I entered into the big seminary. And I had 3 years in philosophy, studying philosophy, and what we call a novitiate, getting into the spirituality of our missionary society. And then I had 4 years at a big national seminary like Bomana here. In fact, I applied to come to Bomana. I applied to come to Bomana for my last 4 years before getting ordained. But they said, no, you stay in Ireland. So I stayed in Ireland. And I got ordained. And 4 years later, after I got ordained, a few months later, I was out in Papua New Guinea. And I've been here since.
Ordained on June 14, 1975, 2 days before his 26th birthday, Father John told Tumuna TV News he has no regrets living in Papua New Guinea, which has now become part of him.
I'm very glad to be here. Papua New Guinea now has taken over. I'm 40 years in Papua New Guinea. I was only 26 years in Ireland. I got ordained 2 days before my 26th birthday. So next week, Tuesday, I'll be 66. So over half my life, well over half my life has been spent here. And people ask me, do you feel like you're a Papua New Guinean or an Irish person? I say, I'm Irish by birth. I'm Papua New Guinean by the grace of God.
David Wapar for Tumuna TV News, Madang.